Good afternoon. Naririnig po ba ako?
Yes.
Okay. So, ayun, na-pressure ako sa introduction ni Klesha. Okay, by the way, I'm Jezebel, and you can call me Jez. So, don't worry, our discussion for this afternoon won't be that long. So, it's direct to the point, the key pointers, or the things that we can talk about employee retention. So, first, gusto ko munang magpasalamat sa mga nag-participate dito sa webinar na 'to. So before we proceed with the next slide, may I ask everyone if visualize yourself if you're a student or if you're working, what are the things that will make you stay in a company? And you can type it in our chat box. And yung kanina nga, yung advice ni Ma'am Beverly, it's very true. It's not only about the money, it's not only about the compensation, the benefits, but what matters most right now for me is the environment, the work environment. So ayun, while you are typing, hayaan niyo ako magkuwento. So may nabasa din ako sa sa Facebook na parang quote from someone. And then parang ang sinabi niya is that if you're praying for that job, pray for a work environment that will not lead to depression, burnout, or regret. So, ayun, related yun doon sa employee retention. Okay. Ano pa po? Going once, going twice. I reading good working environment, work-life balance, culture, transparency and culture, good working relationship, flexibility, appreciation. So, I think halos pare-pareho tayo. We are more into a good culture, or we are more into a um, work environment which is beneficial and which promotes the employees. So it's an employee friendly companies. So moving forward, next slide. We only have two objectives for our discussion or our webinar this afternoon. The first one would be to define employee retention, its importance to the company, and what causes employee turnover. And then next is to present strategies on employee retention. So how will you make them stay? Kasi 'di ba minsan may tanong, ba't di ka nag-stay? So, paano nga ba natin napag-stay ang isang individual or tayo din as workers, how do we stay in a company? Kasi minsan we are uh, having misfit. So sometimes tayo yung hindi nag-fit sa group, tayo yung problema nila. So maybe if you're an ugly duckling in one group, we can find some place or you can find a place where you can be the swan. Or like maybe in this kind of job you do not excel, and it's okay, it's all right, because may kasabihan pa tayo na go to a place where you are celebrated, not condemned. So if you feel like you don't fit in a group, maybe you have to reassess, are you the one causing the problem, or is it your co-workers who are causing the problem? Because um problem with the working relationship isn't doesn't only it's not one way, it's two way. So baka hindi lang kasi nagma-match yung beliefs, values, and morals niyo. And even the principles of the organization. Sometimes we become toxic in our workplace because we do not agree with the values of the organization. For example, if you are working in some sort of organization who is celebrating um, celebrating violence, of course, if you're a woman, if you're a woman and you are advocating for something about to end violence, of course, hindi ka pwede dun. Magiging toxic ka, magiging problema ka ng organization because you do not believe in that value. You do not believe that violence is a means in order to um, reach the values of organization. So those are just some of the considerations or like um, actual realizations that I have realized given my experience and given the experiences of my colleagues. So moving forward, so bago tayo dumako doon sa discussion natin, I'd like to share some of these strategies or practices that was employed or that was conducted by these various organizations. So it's a yes to this. Why it's a yes to this? Because it's employee friendly. It benefited their company and it benefited the employees. So our first in the list would be Walmart. This company has partnered with leading universities in the United States. Why? So that they can offer scholarships or they can offer subsidies, educational subsidies to their employees. And because of that, they have gained access to skilled and loyal workforce. So sino dito yung namomotivate pag sinasabi na may scholarship ka, na bibigyan ka ng subsidy? Of course, sinong may gusto nun? Sinong may ayaw na ganun? Magwo-work ka tapos bibigyan ka ng scholarship, may chance ka na mag-aral, may chance ka na improve yung education mo based sa kung ano yung skill mo sa company. Ayaw nyo ba yon? Ayaw ba? 'Di ba? Gusto natin lahat yon kasi at least makakapag-save tayo. And because of that, magre-retain yung employees kasi given the scholarship or given the subsidy, the company can enforce or can issue a contract na kailangan nilang iserve itong ganitong number of years kapalit ng scholarship. Or even the worker himself or herself gagawin na yung trabaho nila or specific tasking nila kasi nagkaroon sila ng educational or like self-development or self-improvement dahil kay Walmart. So that's the first na maganda or like best practice for employee retention. So perks or advantages and when it comes to educational advancement. Aminin natin dito sa Pilipinas, iilan lang yung nag-offer ng ganito. Okay, moving forward to our next yes to this, Hilton Hotels. So, sino dito yung nakaranas na bago sila magtrabaho, nag-OJT muna sila? Or like, may trial period dito sa Philippines. Na-try ba natin yun? Na-experience ba natin yun? Meron ba? So, si Hilton Hotels, they did this. Why did they issue or why did they give a tryout period for job and housekeeping roles? Because they want the applicants to experience first on how to do the task. And with that, with the experience that they have, there they can decide if they want to do the job or not. So, ano yung kagandahan nito? At least on that tryout period, they get to experience how it is to do the housekeeping role. And if they do this, of course, they can save cost rather than hiring and then ayaw pala nila. So, it's more costly than sa hiring process. So, another yes to this. Next slide. Siemens. So, as you can see, there are employees who'd like to do part-time job. There are employees who'd like to do work from home. So, this can also be a point for employee retention. As you can see, this company had its own employee-led flexibility policy, wherein they opened opportunities for part-time work, work from home, remote work, mixed type of work. And because of that, um, the company or one of the managers of the company was able to give incentives or was able to retain 25 employees who traveled around Asia for 11 weeks without leaving their job. So, imagine mo yun, yung bibigyan ka ng opportunity mag-part-time or mag-work from home so that you can enjoy the beauty of nature or you can travel. Of course, sino ba naman yung aayaw mag-travel, di ba? So this is one also of company policy. Sometimes we can improve our policy in order to match with what our employees want. And this improving company policy will also lead to employee retention. Kasi yun din naman yung isang factor na nagpapadali or na pwedeng magpapadali or magpapahirap ng trabaho ng isang employee natin. Moving forward, so ayun yung mga yes to this natin na practices. Benefits or additional benefits like scholarships, tryout period, and then yung ano natin, yung policy natin. So how can we improve when it comes to human resource? So when we define employee retention, it's the ability of the organization to prevent employee turnover. Employee turnover meaning the number of individuals leaving their job in a company either voluntarily or involuntarily. So, why do we need to look into employee retention? Because it has a direct impact on business performance and success. So ano nga ba yung mga importansya ng employee retention? Next slide. We have 6. I have identified 6 from the books I read into. The first one would be the better process efficiency. Second one, productivity. Third one, morale. Fourth one, lower cost. Fifth one, better customer experiences. And the fifth one is greater profitability. So ano nga ba? Isa-isahin natin itong 6 importance na to. Next slide, please. And the first one is the better process efficiency. We all know naman that those employees who have been with the organization for a long time knows what to do and how to do a simple, a specific step or process in the company. And they know how to get things done. So, employee retention would be a contributory factor in achieving a better process efficiency because you don't have to teach again, you don't have to train again. And then next is a higher employee productivity. So it's connected with the process efficiency. So if a lot of the employees are efficient with the processes of the company, then the task that needs to be done will be easier and will be faster. Rather than you hire again a new employee, and then this new employee would need specific time, a period of time to acclimate to the company and its work processes. So the time period is shorter if it's the long-time employees who are working or doing the task than the new hired ones. Next one is that the employees will have higher morale because they have a sense of belongingness. If the person or if this group of persons stays with each other for a very long time, of course, they will feel belong. And hindi naman natin mawawala sa or like hindi naman natin maaalis sa atin na mas comfortable tayo if we have been with that person or that group of person for a very long time. Rather than you are the newbie again of the company and you're trying again to blend in. Parang sa ano lang yan, sa relationship lang yan, di ba? Meron yung maririnig mo na yung reason ba't siya nagstay for a very long time kahit na niloloko siya is because mas comfortable siya with that person. Mas kilala niya yung person. And parang sa pagkakaibigan na din yan. So, um, may effect din kasi. Parang may advantage if you've been with that person for a longer period of time. Because as we all know, trust in just like in the workplace is it takes a long period of time to build it. So that's one that contributes to the morale. If the trust is built, of course, there's a higher morale, and of course, there is teamwork, there is understanding, and um, the gaps and the barriers. Do you know, or are you familiar with the process of team building? So when they say it's team building, we have the forming, we have the norming, the storming, saka lang kayo magde-develop na team. So, a team doesn't dwell or doesn't blend in for a short period of time. It takes a long period of time. So, moving forward, lower cost. So, as what I mentioned a while ago, aside from the process efficiency, aside from the productivity, if we have high employee retention, we have lower cost when it comes to um, recruitment. Recruitment, training, orientation, and of course, if an employee leaves and we cannot find a replacement, those taskings that these employees or those work assignments that must be completed by these employees is being distributed to um, the unit, which is costly also because in each unit there is a specific task that needs to be performed. So that's one of importance of lower of employee retention. Another is a better experience for your customers, especially for fast food, because for just like for example, for me as a customer, sometimes when I go to restaurants, especially here in Baguio, I remember the name of the waiter who very good in serving. It's like for example, in one restaurant where we usually dine with my best friend, we met a jolly being who's been our consistent waiter. So every time that me and my best friend would go there, we will look for um we will look for him. And then until such time that he already left the organization. So it's the same. The customers will always um look for the approachable, and they also we develop also as customers, we develop relationships with uh that specific employee if they serve us right. So that's also one of the reasons of one of the benefits of employee retention, especially for the performers or for those who are doing good. Hahanapin sila ng mga clients natin. So, yun yung isang tatandaan natin if um, we want to improve our uh, company. And then next would be greater profitability. Andun na yun kasi lahat. When you lower the cost, you lower the operational cost, and you have a better experience, of course, the savings comes in, and then the expenses is the same. So, um, we have a greater profitability. Also given the production, since the employees are familiar with the processes. So, as we can see, um, employee retention is very important. It affects the profitability also of the company. Next, moving forward, ayun. So, agree ba kayo sa mga causes ng employee turnover? na nailagay natin dito? Do you agree with what's being flashed on the screen? Ayun. So since nag-a-agree yata ang majority, alin na dito sa mga causes ang na-experience natin? You can utilize our chat box to enumerate our experiences when it comes to employee turnover. So as an employee, ano yung experience niyo? Na-curious ako sa ano ni Ma'am Bervic. Ay, Sir Bervic. Sir Bervic, pwede kayong mag-unmute and can you share your experiences since mention niyo na lahat?
Good afternoon, everyone. Basically, it's how should I say it? Na interlock to each other. Basically, one aspect creates another aspect. Then suddenly, at the end of the day, burnout comes. Basically, unsatisfaction with the work environment and burnout.
So, thank you, sir. How about Sir Jerome?
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So, can you share also your uh, experiences when it comes to process of this turnover?
Yeah, I just drop off my chat here that majority of it I already experienced those. For me it's high employee turnover, which are very costly, and usually it has a negative impact in the business, of course. But for me, that is why, as a certified HR professional, it must be one of our goal to really focus on our employees retention, especially those talents who has strong capacities and initiatives in terms of in the working environment, and how are they going to adjust and adapt the culture of the company. So it must be on us as an HR practitioner to really strategize everything and to focus on our top talents, also to avoid those turnover in the future.
Thank you. So,
You're welcome.
ayun. Yun po yung these are majority of the causes of turnover or employee turnover. Sometimes we have insufficient pay or benefits. Second, we have poor work-life balance, and then lack of career growth or opportunities, inadequate recognition of rewards. So we have found better job opportunities elsewhere. Monotonous and unchallenging work, fear about the company's strategy or financial health, burnout, and ineffective management. So, in relation to this process of employee turnover, sometimes this employee turnover, this process is being uh, associated with our motivations as individuals. So, it's very important also for HR professionals to determine the motivations of uh, our employees, because sometimes their motivations affects their um, views or like their interest in the company. So it's sometimes they are motivated with money and they are given a benefit or in compensation which is not enough. Of course, they will look for another job. Sometimes their motivation is their family. Then the company for work-life balance. Then they will be forced to quit their job. Sometimes their motivation is uh, about company values. Does it match their qualifications? Does it match their morals? Does it match their principles? If it's not, then uh, I guess it's the management is ineffective also, and the culture is not does not fit the individual, of course, they will be forced to leave their job. So those are just the scenarios that we can deduce or we can beat down. So as HR professionals, we must also determine the morals, values, and motivation of the employee. Moving forward, so in retaining employees, we don't only focus on the poor performers. We have to categorize. So we can so as on my researches, I was able to identify the top performers, average performers, and the poor performers. So the top performers, they are the cream of the crop. They have the leadership, the capability, the skill, the passion to the average performers. These are the individuals who goes to work every day, commits to the company's vision, uh, commits to have the job done, but uh, sometimes they lack in leadership or they lack in being competitive in their job. We whether we admit it or not, in a workplace, there are top performers and there are average performers. But it does not mean that we focus on top performers. So there are different approaches, different strokes for different folks. So how do we retain or how do we motivate top performers in uh, staying or retaining in the company? The first one is we need to give them challenging work. So after a very long time, uh, minsan, itong mga ano natin, top performers, if they do uh, parang pare-pareho na job, routinary jobs, minsan nabo-boring sila. And with that, naghahanap sila ng thrill. So giving them a challenging work, na alam naman natin na kaya ng capacity nila, that will improve also their skills, that will keep them looking for more, that will keep them exploring for new opportunities or new skills. And giving them a challenging work will also uh, open in them the choices or options on uh, the social media, of course, or the internet or the technology on how they can perform such tasks. And then next, if we cannot give them a challenging work, we can train them in cross-disciplinary skills. So like, for example, if they are performing administrative function, we can have them augment or we can have them work or try doing finance, or we can uh, have an additional task for them for which is related to operations, because um doing such thing will make these individuals not only well versed in their specific kind of field, but also have a knowledge or skills in other sections or in other units of your company. And aside from that, if you cross-train these performers, uh, you can have more experts in your company. You can have more people doing or knowing the job in your company. So there will be no monopoly on skills. And then lastly, ay, nag-e-echo. Am I still clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ayun, sorry. So, next is train them in a yung last would be define and implement a succession plan. Of course tayo, yun nga nami-mention natin, we prefer yung career growth natin. Individuals, sino ba naman yung ayaw, di ba? Yung succession plan. So, with this, given na employee tayo, gusto din nating umakyat sa corporate ladder, di naman natin gusto na maging employee na lang tayo habang buhay. Of course, we would like to be promoted. So, in retaining top performers or in having them hooked doon sa company natin, we need to present to them also, wait a minute, hold on. May check lang po ako. Hello, good afternoon. Select ko lang. Nag-e-echo pa ba? Nag-e-echo pa ba?
Hindi na po, ma'am.
Okay, ayun. So, yun. Inayos ko lang yung sa, sa sounds. So, going back, so those are the three things that we can do to retain our top performers. So, pinaka-importante dun, yung makita nila na, parang napipisil ako for this position. No? Parang the company is eyeing me to, I'm expecting a promotion. You know? So, who wouldn't want to be promoted? Who wouldn't want to be, who wouldn't want to be uh, given up salary raise, salary increase, 'di ba lahat naman tayo? So, yun yung ang tatlong steps that we can have our top performers hooked in. And then when it comes to average performers, the first one would be we offer personalized benefits and perks. So this is where our surveys, this is where our feedbacks comes in. We can devise a questionnaire to them and then to have them answered so that we would know or you would know what motivates them or what do they want. Do they want scholarship? Do they want leaves, paid leaves? Do they want vacation leave, sick leave? Of course, it depends on the benefits also that the company can offer. So if you devise a questionnaire, you have to check also what the company can offer and then you can include it there. And with that, from that, you can work on a personalized benefits and perks for these average employees. Next is ensure that they are working under the right manager. The manager is very crucial also in the performance of a team. Believe me or not, sometimes the manager is the reason why the employees resign or the employees leave the organization. So how do we um, ensure that? First, we can have the kamustahan with the employees. So the HR can schedule per department or per unit, per section, depending on the size of the company. That's one, kamustahan. So that's open communication to the employees without their managers. So it's a focus group. It can be through interview or it can be like a focus group discussion or informal discussion. So if you have the kumustahan, that will make the employees feel that their feedbacks are valued or that their opinions matter. So aside from having the kumustahan and having their concerns being taken down, of course, you as an HR professional must ensure that um, you address their concern. Because if not, of course, um, it's like a walk at the grocery store. That you bought them and then you did nothing. So instead of helping them, hindi na. So that's very crucial and important when it comes to kumustahan. And then next also is you can have evaluation. So if you evaluate, we can have evaluation in employee. It's a two-way, like manager to the employees and the employees or the subordinates to their managers. In that way also, you can cross-examine what could be or who could be the problem. Is it the subordinates or is it the manager? Because yun nga yung kasabihan, hindi lang yung manager yung laging tama. It doesn't mean that you are the boss, you are always right. It doesn't mean that you came first to the company, you are always right. So most of the time, we need to balance. We need also to hear the side of the other part. And then last is to adapt a social recognition system to recognize them. We don't only recognize the top performers, but we can also adapt the social recognition system. So I saw this in my previous company or previous workplace wherein if one of or if the employee is given a good rating or a good evaluation on her assistance to the clients, they will be mentioned So everything will be mentioned, everybody will be mentioned, and um, at least it's good na may ganon na recognition for the employees to also realize na, I am helping, or they view me as helpful. So that's one of the factors. So if you are being recognized as this one and that one, of course, you will be motivated to do better, since they see, or like, you were evaluated as someone who was able to help, or who is helpful to your clients. And then secondly, during a Christmas party, you can like have pakulo, like for example, the queen of the night, the king of the night, and then rookie of the year, um, most outstanding employee of the year, latecomer of the year, uh, early bird of the year. So those things contribute to retention of the employees. Okay, moving forward. Ito na. The poor performers. The poor performers, they can be the average or the top performers if we give them the right intervention or the correct intervention. The first one is that you need to identify the cause of the poor performance. You can identify it first by talking to the individual directly. You ask them, do they have any problems why they are performing they are performing in that level? Are they facing difficulties in life? So you need to identify what's causing the poor performance. So the first one, you can talk to them. Secondly, you can talk to the whole unit and ask them what they have observed, or what this employee is doing, or sharing with them. And then lastly, to the manager. So you solicit also the observation of the manager. So once you have identified the cause of the poor performance, secondly, you need to address skill gaps or the gaps immediately. So if it's on the skill, of course, you can provide this employee training, intervention on training or in development. Or if it's on compensation and benefits, you can look into the profile of this employee, and maybe have some tweak on the benefits or the compensation. And if they admit that they are burned out already, or they are having difficulty, you can give them paid leaves or vacation leaves or healthcare services. So those are the things that we can do in order to address the gaps immediately. And then lastly, write accurate job descriptions to hire the right people. So to avoid poor performance, we need to have the accurate job description, so that we get the right people for the right job. And in this remedy, or in this step, we avoid poor performing individuals. Moving forward. So here are the strategies and practices that was observed from a lot of companies over the years. Number one, define hiring and onboarding processes. So in hiring and onboarding processes, one of the things that I have observed is that in all the companies that I joined in, I have observed mentoring. So during an onboarding process, you introduce yourself to your batchmates, and then the orienting officer will introduce the company, vision, mission, and then on the last part, they will tour you around the office, and then they will uh, introduce you to their office, and then introduce you to your boss, or your mentor. So that's one of a good practice, because at least when you onboard as a newbie, you already have somebody to rely on, to ask what you can do, or somebody to mentor you, to tell you that, hey, what you're doing is wrong, or hey, what you're doing great, so you can do something like this, and like that. Secondly, improve wellness offerings. So as we can observe, we aside from the insurance, aside from the healthcare insurance which is being offered in various company, we are observing several or multiple companies who is offering also gym membership, um, offering also or crafting programs like sports, Zumba session, and this is good also because it just shows that the company is not only concerned with your performance but also with your physical well being. Sometimes there are companies also who offer yoga, who offer wellness hours so that you can go to the salon, to the spa, or to the sports center, or to the gym to um, have your rituals in strengthening your uh, body. One of the companies or agencies who do this is the SWD. Next is communicate clearly and open. So as HR, you are like the big sister, the big brother in the company. So you need to communicate. You need to find way to communicate to the employees. So in all means, you need to communicate to them the goal of the company or the expectation of the company. And then you also need to um, have them communicate what's their problem and the company. So you are the middleman between the management and the employees. And you need to be very open when it comes to communication. Next, solicit continuous feedback and provide support. So, the one that I mentioned a while ago, the kumustahan session or um, the questionnaires or the surveys that we conduct, that is already a form of feedback. And the answers that we get from the feedback um, will determine the support that we need to augment to the employees. And the next, schedule frequent performance check-ins. So um, this one, the example would be the performance review, or in government employees, you have the IPCR review that's being done quarterly, sometimes bi-monthly, sometimes semi-annually, sometimes annually, because that can be a form of feedback on how you're doing. And then lastly, without bad managers. Sometimes there is this saying that employees don't quit job, employees quit managers. So, how do you know if the manager is bad? So, through the kumustahan session, through the feedbacks that is being given by the employees. So, if the employees already are talking about their manager, maybe you as the HR needs to intervene or needs to interfere. And if it's not solved, of course, if you cannot solve the problem, you need to identify who needs to go. If it's the subordinates, then the subordinates needs to go. If it's the managers, then it's the managers who needs to go. We don't need to take sides. We don't need to consider seniority. What we need to foster as the HR would be the welfare of the company and the welfare of the employees. And then last, recognize and reward top performers. So this is very common and classic when it comes to sales. Another strategies also and practices that I have observed with the companies I have worked with for over the years would be they use technology, um, like NetSuite, or like the company has IT or information technology individuals who can make programs or who can make websites wherein the employees can check on their records, like how many leaves have they acquired, how much compensation have they acquired, how much benefits did the company spend to them. And from there, they can also file their leaves. They can also have their trainings because There are e-learnings in that specific website. So majority of the companies in Manila, especially in um, at the center, does that. So at least the employee records is very accessible not only to HR but also to the employees. And also um, those websites serves um, purpose to finance and to the human resource because the compensation is already computed there. So do not need also to compute for the payroll. They can just generate the payroll and then they can track the payment. So those are the practices that um, I have observed for uh, over the years. So when it comes to employee retention, um, it's very crucial to know the motivation and then to secondly be a good listener to our employees and then to thirdly uh, be helpful to show your empathy, show your empathy, show your support, show your guidance because the employees are counting in the human resource department when it comes to their problems. So moving forward, I do hope that we were able to fulfill the objectives of our webinar to define employee retention, to determine its importance, to determine the causes of employee turnover, and to present strategies on employee retention. So by the way, the yes to this a while ago are some of the strategies or like some of the strategies that was done or that was already realized by the top companies operating in this modern world. So moving forward, as we said, or as I said, human resource matters. That would be all for our webinar, and thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Ma'am Jessie. Okay. So I hope marami po tayong natutunan sa webinar ngayong araw. Okay, and of course, we are going to open na po yung question and answer portion po natin for this episode. So lahat po ng may mga questions, katanungan po para sa ating speaker, you can type your questions po on the chat box or you can unmute po to ask our speaker. Okay, may mga questions po ba? Meron po ba tayong tanong? Okay. Mukhang. Okay lang po. You can directly send me your questions po. So we have here question from the registration form, ma'am. Habang wala pa po silang question. So
Okay.
we have this: what strategies can we implement to foster a sense of belonging among employees in a hybrid work environment where some team members may feel disconnected due to remote work arrangements?
Mm. So when it comes to remote jobs kasi, what I have observed when it comes to their um, employees is that busog sila sa busog sila sa benefits. Like some of the companies will give them computers, laptops, or like keys for the internet, and that's good. And then secondly, they have the healthcare benefits, not only for these individuals, but also for their families. So with that alone, it makes them feel that their families matters to the company. Some also gives food allowances. So, and also other perks and benefits. So I that's just one of example also. And of course, we are also aware that some of us are agency owners. So I think so. I think to have a culture of another for our like freelancers to feel a culture of belongingness, we can organize a get together at least once a year. If the persons that we have hired under our agency or the freelancers under our agency is from the Philippines, we can have a get together or we can meet at least once a year. So in that case, these individuals will feel that they belong. Next, okay, from Sir Bervic Tabe is to the dear HR students ever see HR as a career or else you'll get lost. Note that HR is not just a profession, but rather a vocation. And it's true, Sir Bervic. When you see it as a job or a career, you can never see the beauty of human resource. You can never see the beauty of helping people. So, yun yung tatandaan natin to the human resource students. Next, how do we address rule defier employees? Of course, we always stick to the company policy. So, if we defy the rules and then we need to always go back to the company policy. If it's proven that they have defied the rules, then we need also to check or review the company policy on what is the specified like penalty or the specified payment or another additional task load for the employee action or the employee violation. So, yun. Pero what if sa HR po ang may poor management, like di napapakinggan ang issues and concerns po ng employees? If that's the case po, when it comes to HR, we can always put it into writing. So as employees naman, we can put into writing our complaints about our HR and we can raise it to the management. So it's still better to put our complaints into writing rather than we talk it out or we make it a chismis. Mas maganda pa rin na documented yun. So, documented with all the receipts or with all the proofs that they are not listening to your issues and concerns. Because in the part of the HR, it will be the management who will determine what will be their penalty or what could be their punishment for not doing their job. Kasi marami din ganun talaga na individual like na hindi nakikinig even though they are HR. And the best remedy is to raise the concern to the management. Next question, ano po usually ang ginagawa sa managers or boss na nagiging reason ng pag-quit ng employee? Of course, ayun, as HR, if you are really the HR, you need to look into this because if a lot of people are leaving because of these managers, then you need to weed out. Yun yung na-mention ko a while ago. One of the strategies you need to remove or to weed out that manager. But before weeding out or removing the manager from his post, maybe you can also have an intervention or you can talk to this manager about the feedback. And then you can ask his side and then you can give this like probationary period for observation or like a training and then probationary period to give these people a chance because maybe they are going through something. But if does not change, then of course you need to sacrifice the individual rather than sacrificing also the productivity of the company. Micromanagement attitude of managers minsan reason how to address po. If the managers are micromanaging, actually I hate micromanagement very much because it does not empower the company. So if you have observed this attitude, then put it into writing, and then you can report it to the human resource. It's the human resource now which will determine the um, intervention. But if I am the human resource manager, of course, I will be putting these micromanagers to training, especially on the different kinds of leadership and the different kinds of followership, so that they would understand that we have different kinds of leadership and we have different kinds of followership. And then also, we will be also having these micromanagers enlightened about generation gap, because sometimes those who are micromanagers are from the other generation. So sometimes they just need to understand that we came from different generations, we came from different learning methods, we came from different cultures, different families. So providing these micromanagers a training and immersion to the community will be of great help, so that they can understand that micromanagement does not work, and micromanagement is detrimental to the company rather than beneficial. Very true po.
Jess, hi. Can I
Yes,
just,
ma'am.
yeah, sorry, I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
need to. Good
Okay.
afternoon, good evening, everyone. So I would just like to share some things with regard to the questions here. Before I'm going to answer, let me just introduce myself. Who am I intervening? No, so I am not an HR, but I do manage people, so I do understand this one. Okay, so with your questions, if you're going to check, yung participants natin ngayon are in the HR or taking HR as a course, no? So if you are going to check po yung mga concerns na mga nandito sa chat box, it is actually sinasabi nila na yung HR ang may problema. Doon. It's not really the employees or the managers, but it's mostly on the HR not listening to the concerns of the employees or the staff, no? Doon sa mga companies. So, this is a wake-up call sa mga HR and also doon sa mga magi-HR na please, no? Do your best to educate yourself. Do your best to capacitate yourself to be those people who stand up for the benefits of the employees. Okay? So, hopefully, no, na like what we've said, yung mga discussion, yung mga concerns na sisend dito, no, maging wake-up call po sa inyo. So, sabihin ninyo, paano kapag estudyante ako, wala pa akong experience? Paano kapag bagong graduate ako, wala pa akong experience? Hindi ko pa alam kung ano talagang gagawin ko when I am already there. So, going back to sa sinabi ko, na educate yourself, attend seminars such as this so that you can gain knowledge, no? Hindi lang naman sa pagkakaroon ng experience mismo sa field, ang ways for us to be able to gain knowledge on how to handle these things, no? For example, mga labor laws. There are so many ways for you to learn labor laws. Everything, all this information, they are actually present online. So if you just really want to learn more, to be more skilled in handling people and to have more people who stay, who are more satisfied employees. So it would be nice that you really educate yourself on handling these ones. Now, going po dito sa tanong po ninyo about sa micromanagement. Yes, it is true, no, that is really not good. But you also have to check yourself, no? Bakit kayo mina-micromanage? Baka naman mina-micromanage kayo kasi you are not doing your job properly. So it goes both ways. Hindi naman kailangan kasalanan lahat ng nagma-micromanage. Believe me, everyone is busy, everyone has their own task, and for sure micromanagement would be the least of the things that any people in the higher position would want to do. So baka naman kasi you keep doing the same mistakes. Maybe you are not listening naman kasi that's why mina-micromanage kayo. Ayun po. So you also have to check on that side. Another one po is, sasabihin ko na ano to, I was about to say something pero nawala sa isip ko. Okay, about this one no, sa HR. But maybe yes, later on. Kasi I think there are still a lot of questions that our speaker is going to be answering. Maybe I can think about it later. But it's really more on us, no, being that people. Okay, ito na, naalala ko na po. Okay, please remember po, no, that HR, no, you are the, like sinabi nga doon sa comment dito, you are the heart of the organization. So do your best. And being an HR, knowing your people is actually an investment. You have to know yung motivation ng mga employees ninyo. For example, dito sa amin, it's actually very, very surprising. Although money is actually the best motivation, but sa organization namin, it is not. Okay. You know why? Nagulat nga ako na mas gusto pa actually nila yung nare-recognize nila sila through publications, napopost yung mukha nila, yung recognition through certificates, mga ganyan. They are more interactive, they are more appreciative kapag ganoon yung mga ginagawa naming recognition dun sa mga effort nila. Which actually naisip ko na, oh yes, they are younger than me. They don't have this much opportunity to be recognized, no? To be seen out in the public. That's why these small things, it doesn't really have to be money, but then they appreciate it. So there you go. Once you become an HR, you really need to invest on your employees. Please learn your employees so that you can understand them better and you can give better service to them. Back to you, Jess.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ayun. So, yun, more clarifications when it comes to micromanagement. Next, if the organization is client-centric, how do we strengthen employee? Ay, Diyos ko. Pag minsan kasi yung client yung problema. There is meron ng mga bagong mechanism now where we can also have feedback on our clients, especially in BPO company. I don't think na hindi to ginagawa. So as HR, you need to also train yung our employees on how to be resilient when it comes to this, because there are a lot of people who are irate. There are a lot of customers who are irate, who ask a lot of questions, who are sometimes feeling entitled. So we, as HR, we need to consider on training this our employees to be resilient. But of course, we also need to teach our employees on how they can address irate customers in a professional manner, so that it does not affect the image of the company or the performance of the company in all settings. Kahit saang trabaho yan, meron at meron kasi talagang problems when it comes to the clients, or sometimes tayo din as employees may magiging problema din tayo. But what's important for the HR is to identify or to take both sides. You don't need to immediately punish the employee if he or she is being reported. You need to take also her side. And I think in BPO company we also have recording. So you also, if there is a need for you to listen to the conversation, since nag-oo naman yung client natin that this is a recorded call, then you need to listen to the conversation in order for you to find out if nagkamali nga ba yung employee or it's on the side of the client.
Hello, good evening. I have a question. I
Yes.
am okay. I am Marjorie. I'm working in an organization. Well, I work as an HR.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I had this question of mine is that it relates to what happened inside our organization. Okay, what if how to deal with a toxic employee, especially leads, na alam mo yung parang feeling na sila yung porket lead siya, okay, mas maano ako sa inyo, mas mataas yung salary grade ko sa inyo, and parang how do you call this one? Yung parang hindi niya inaamin na may pagkakamali siya. Like tingin niya sa sarili niya, isa siyang perfect. Paano siya i-deal? Although I have no background. I mean, I finished college but not HR definitely. So, naging HR lang ako for um experience, work
Yes.
experience, naging HR ako. So, nagkaroon kasi kami ng parang, meron kasi kami isang kasama sa work na tingin talaga sa kanya ng lahat is toxic. So, parang hindi namin kasi alam, parang mas gugustuhin mo pa, parang on our part, hindi lang HR kundi pati yung ibang kasama is ibang division na parang mas gusto namin pumasok sa work na wala siya. Pero kapag andiyan siya, ang bigat kasi ng dala niya sa amin, eh. Mas malakas yung vibes ng negativity kapag andiyan siya. So, hindi namin alam kung paano namin siya i-deal as an HR. Kasi nga, parang lagi niyang inaano na, okay, mas mataas yung salary grade ko sa inyo and kayo is mababa lang. Though HR, pero feeling niya kasi siya yung mas authority sa amin eh. So, yun, paano namin siya i-deal? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Marjorie. When it comes to those individuals kasi na feeling entitled just because of higher salary grade, you are the HR. You can impose your authority as the HR, ma'am. Kasi when it comes to managing people, we don't count on salary grade, we don't count on higher pay. If there is a violation, if there is a written complaint against that individual, you can impose your authority, whether manager man yan, porque mas mataas man yung salary grade niya, kailangan niya pa rin mag-adhere. So, if that employee is already causing a problem, then maybe we can encourage these individuals to write a complaint against her and then discuss these things with her and or have her trained again. And if ayaw niya or if ayaw pa rin niya, maybe you can raise this concern to the management. If that person belongs to the management, you can raise it to the higher office. Because I believe you are, I think, in a regional office or a regional or provincial level. So we have the regional or the higher headquarters or the higher office. You can raise actually that concern. You can write a written complaint against that individual. Of course, truthful, with facts, with receipts, with proofs of what she has been doing. And then you can raise it to the management if she does not listen with after you discussing the concerns to her. As a human resource, you need to open the eyes of these individuals, of this certain individual or certain people. Because as if he or she is holding a leadership or management position, she must understand or she must realize that she was not put or she was not hired for that managerial position for her or him to step on other people or to step on other employees of the company. She was there to lead. She was put there. She was hired there to lead and to manage the office, not to become the prima donna or not to become anybody else. And that's the task of the HR, ma'am. You can impose your authority over her and imposing your authority as HR over that individual, whether she is receiving a higher pay, doesn't does not mean that you are disrespectful. You're just doing your job.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that.
Yes,
Follow-up
ma'am.
question. There was an incident kasi before na parang, like, example, like yung sa attendance. Okay? So, currently kasi, we don't have this bio pa. So, we're using logbook. sa attendance. Ngayon, there are time na nagpaalam siya, in one of my colleague, nagpaalam siya na pupunta lang daw siya sa kabilang office kasi meron daw siyang gagawin doon. Only to find out when we check is wala naman siya doon. Pero doon nakalagay sa attendance niya is nakalag siya. I mean, whole day. Pero hindi talaga. So we verified and yun nga hindi talaga siya nag-report dun sa kabilang office. So ngayon, parang that time ang ginawa ko is that heads up ko siya into our leads kasi during that time meron pa kaming lead ng HR. So heads up ko siya and nung nalaman niya na heads up ko yung concern is that nagalit siya sa akin. So from then on, tina-target niya na ako like every now and then lagi siyang nag-aano sa GC na parang ako yung pinatatamaan. So hindi ko lang siya pinapansin. So, pagka ganun ba, anong pwedeng sa kanya as an HR na parang minsan kasi parang yung parang na minsan kasi may sa mga pagta-target niya sa akin medyo natatamaan na din ako. So parang yung parang tawag nito yung parang yung self-esteem ko is yung parang unti-unti siyang naaano kasi parang nadadala na din ako sa mga inaano niya yung parang sinasabi niya against me. So, though alam ko on my part na lagi ko ding sinasabi na I'm just doing my job, I was just doing the task na binigay sa akin. So, parang walang personalan. So, nagkataon lang talaga na siya yung natamaan nung time na yon. So, yun po.
Yun. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Marjorie. I just have a simple tip when it comes to those individuals. If you know that you are doing your job, if you know that you just did your job, then ignore that person. You do not give her the power of controlling or manipulating your emotions. And that's it. Kahit kasi magparinig siya ng magparinig, ginawa mo lang naman yung trabaho mo, then siya yung mahihirapan dun. Kasi kung ikaw, ma'am, magparinig siya ng magparinig, tapos you show or like you ignore that person and then you show her na hindi ka affected, then you win. It's not her loss or it's not that person's loss, but it's your loss if patulan mo or i-address mo yung ginagawa niya. Sometimes we have to choose our battles. And sometimes there are behaviors that we need to just ignore in order to do our task efficiently or effectively. Kasi wala nang sense kung papatulan mo siya, ma'am. Kasi bumaba na siya sa level na yun. Basta alam mo naman na ginawa mo yung trabaho mo, you're just doing your job, then walang problema.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, just an additional with regards to this very specific concern that Ma'am Marjorie has raised. I think when it comes to the example that she has given, no, na parang given na there is already a direct specific person na pinapatamaan niya and it is already affecting the performance of this person. I think you have to go back to your policy manual when it comes to harassment and bullying. I am sure po no na meron kayong policy doon about this one on how to handle this. And actually, even though you are an HR, you can also file a case against this certain person. No, because there are other people naman who can handle that one. Kung hindi man po kayo, yun. Kasi that is already, actually when we go outside, that is already libel. No, you can actually file a case against that person if that is like that. Especially kapag naman given na even though hindi naman po na state directly yung pangalan ninyo, but it is obviously na ikaw po yung pinapatamaan, ano po, that is actually libel already. But of course, as policy naman, as procedure, you handle things within your company muna. So you go back to your policy manual, ma'am, on how to handle that one. Ayun po. Although tama po talaga, pinaka best po talaga doon is learn to separate po yung personal emotions natin sa trabaho natin. So tama po din sinabi actually ni Jess. Although that's very difficult, especially nga po, sabi niyo na po, it is already affecting po yung work performance ninyo and then your mental health. Especially now po na may bago na pong law about the mental health in the workplace. So again po, that is actually very strong na rin po yung effect po ng ginagawa ng coworker ninyo doon po sa inyo. Lalo na po na he is in higher position than you, kung tama po or sahod, maybe sahod is equivalent po na mas mataas yung position niya sa inyo, that is already power harassment, which is another case po, ma'am. So please review your policy manual so that you can deal with this one properly po within the bounds of your authorities po in your organization.
Ayun. So, okay na po, Ma'am Marjorie?
Yes po. Thank you so much po.
Okay, next question. What can be done by those HRs that doesn't know how to de-escalate manager-employee issues that results to employee turnover? What can be done to again, when it comes to those HR who does not know these things, kung nakakaapekto na yung ginawa niya, ano to, employee turnover, we can raise it to the higher management. If we are not satisfied with what the HR is doing, we can raise it through writing to the higher management so that they can intervene already on the concern. Next, kay Ma'am Beverly, sabi niya regarding doon sa problema ni Ma'am Marjorie kanina. Hello po, just to add, the behavior and attitude problems of colleagues can be raised to a higher department to conduct personality development and other battery tests to help him bring in reality. So, ayun. Next question, what if po mayroon po nanira sa inyo sa trabaho kung wala kang ginagawa basta sa trabaho at ginagawa mo lang ng tamang trabaho? May anong violence po ang pwede gawin doon? Violence po? Of course, when it comes to ano kasi, mga ganito, yes, you can file a case kung sinisiraan ka na talaga and naapektuhan na yung mental health mo, or kaya mo pa naman, you ignore that person kapag alam mo naman na ginagawa mo yung trabaho mo. What is just important is that hindi mo siya papatulan ng pisikalan, hindi mo siya papatulan na babalik sa'yo yung problema. So, if you cannot deal, hindi mo na matiis, then file a complaint in writing against this person.
Hello
May
po.
tanong po? Yes po.
Hi, my name is Annalyn Paculaba. I have a
Yes.
question lang po. What if kung halimbawa po, hindi naman po yung HR ang may problema, the management itself? I mean, if you are, kunyari siya yung HR, and then lahat naman ng concern niya is na sasabi niya naman sa management, top management. And then the top management, sasabihin lang niya is, okay, pag-iisipan ko. And then, for a while, hindi na siya magsasabi ng anything or hindi ka na niya babalikan kung okay ba yung naging decision mo. So how do you handle po pagka ganun po yung situation sa upper naman siya, sa boss na mismo?
Maybe for me, if that's the case na hindi na nag-feedback, you need to follow up already in a proper and professional manner, of course. Like, we know that the top management or the management has is dealing a lot of things, is dealing with a lot of things. So, pag nag-raise ka ng concern and then sabi na babalikan ka and hindi ka binabalikan, you have the right to ask that person or to follow up that person with regards to that matter. Because sometimes, baka nakaligtaan lang niya or hindi. But if there is no action and then if you like have monthly or annually meeting, then in your report, you can make them realize the effects of what they are doing.
Okay,
So,
what
yun po.
if, what if naman po kung halimbawa they get back to you naman, sinagot ka naman, and then hindi naman naging approve yung mga na-raise na concern. For example, yung concern lang, sample lang is they want higher pay since kasi, for example, di ba, during the pandemic kasi marami naman talagang nangyari. So, most of the company talagang naging low yung mga ano nila. Kumbaga, wala talagang naging increase. And then eventually, some of the employees want some increase and then sinabi mo naman siya sa top management. However, kumbaga parang hindi pa rin sila talaga okay for that. And then sinabi mo sa mga tao yon. And then some of the employees are parang nade-demoralize, of course. Although sinabi mo naman siya sa management. So how do you deal naman pagka halimbawa ganun naman po yung scenario?
With that scenario, ma'am, na-mention nyo ba kung bakit nagre-request ng raise? Yung mga specific reasons kung bakit nagre-request ng raise yung employees?
Opo, kasi di ba po, na-release naman. Kasi for example, ang reason behind kasi almost 2 years naman talaga, kahit minimum up lang sana so that they could feel na talagang merong Kasi before, meron daw po kasi and then eventually nawala, parang ganun kasi naging
You mean hindi minimum yung pay ng employees, ma'am?
Hindi, minimum naman po. Kumbaga, they want some raise lang. Tumaas lang sa... Dahil nga po, yung nangyari is, di ba po, ngayon naman po, yung ibang mga employees is parang naghahanap sila ng... tumataas na rin kasi yung expenses. For example, yan. Tumataas na yung expenses and then parang gusto nila kasi sanang maski pa paano they have magkaroon lang ng increase. Maramdaman lang naman nila for while na kumbaga paramdaman lang ng mga employees is na sila rin naman ay ma-increasean, parang ganun. Kasi parang in the past year, parang wala. So parang ganun. And then you propose and then parang hindi pa rin ready, parang ganun. Ganun.
Pinaliwanag ba ng ma'am, ng management kung bakit hindi nila inapprove?
Usually yung management kasi hindi naman kasi nagsasabi. Parang ganun po. So yun yung problem kung hindi naman nila sinasabi the reason behind why.
Oo, ma'am. Baka you can have the courage to ask them because maybe they are not approving of your request because of the financial condition of the company. Is there transparent po ba ang company when it comes to the financial or the financial statement or the financial performance of the company? Because maybe yun yung isang napakalaking consideration kasi when you raise yung sahod ng employees, makakadagdag yun sa expenses. So, baka ang maganda, ma'am, is you also ask the management what's the problem, what's the reason on why they are not raising the salary of the employees. Especially that right now, ganun na nga po, ganito nga po yung sitwasyon.
Okay, thank you po.
Yes. And then if na-find out nyo kung ano yung reason, you can explain it to the people or the employees or you can retrofit yung proposal ninyo sa salary increase. Yun po.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you.
Next. Ano po ang dapat gawin sa katrabaho mo o boss mo na konting pagkakamali mo lang? Papagalitan ka kaagad. Di man lang niya inisip na halos ikaw na ang gumagawa ng mga report na dapat trabaho. So if you have this kind of supervisor or office mate, you can raise this concern to the human resource office because so what Ma'am Jess had mentioned, this is already a form of bullying, power tripping, and power tripping. Imbis na kasi na gawin nila yung trabaho nila, para silang patabaing baboy na um, umaasa din sa tao. This is very common. I have experienced this for a lot of times and I have been experiencing this in my um, job. And what I did is that to raise it to the human resource. Maraming ganun, like they are in the position that they cannot perform their um, position or they cannot perform the specific task or specific job. So nandun lang sila. Yun yung tinatawag natin na position by paper, but they cannot perform the job. They are not competent enough for their job. So if the company is under union and the one employee always refer back concern to DOLE, how would you? The DOLE kasi is an agency that regulates or it's a department that regulates labor and employment. And we cannot take against him if they always refer back their concern to DOLE. Maybe we can talk to this employee kasi baka may hindi rin tayo napupulfill doon sa mga ano niya, sa mga concerns niya. Kaya siya umaakyat sa DOLE. Kasi if napupulfill naman natin yung concerns, hindi yan aakyat sa higher management. Ito from Sir Burdick Anthony Carrillo, I think this is yung na-raise kanina ni Ma'am Ana regarding salary raise. Yes, it depends po kasi sa financial aspect na management. So that's why kanina yung sinabi ko na you need to ask the reason because maybe may financial constraints din ang management and hindi nila sinasabi. So do we still have another question? Or nasagot na po ba yung questions po natin?
Okay, Jess, hi. Hello again. Natutuwa ako. Okay, so I think ang bottom line naman lahat ng mga questions sa mga concerns is put everything into writing and there's actually a proper way on how to write a report. Gather your evidence, sabi nga ng speaker natin, no, when we say evidence, they have to be specific. Kaya if you feel like you are being harassed, you are being bullied as much as possible, no, you take the screenshot pero wag yung i-post sa Facebook, okay? Baka maging marisrakal tayo. You take a screenshot of that one. Sabi ko nga, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, kahit hindi direkta, no, na na-mention yung name ninyo na nangyari kay Vic Soto, pero halata naman na kayo yon. For example, yung patama nga na, oh, yung nagsumbong sa akin dyan. Oh, baka isumbong nyo na naman ako. Obviously, na ikaw yung pinapatamaan kasi ikaw lang naman yung gumawa ng ganon. So, ikaw na yon. So, take a screenshot of that one. Timestamp, actually. And when it happened, as much as possible, you also give a background and put everything into writing. So, ayun po yung tamang paggawa po ng report. And at the same time, actually, if there are really things no na na hindi po talaga natin alam no yung concern, we do not know what to do about it. Diyan po talaga papasok ang DOLE. DOLE is not just about filing complaints right away, but it is also to clarify things, no? Malay ninyo naman pala, so tingin ninyo hindi ka naniniwala sa HR ninyo, pero yung HR nyo naman pala tama, tapos DOLE, no, ang nagpaliwanag sa inyo. I am not sure right now yung process ng DOLE if they are already very responsive online, but so far naman, maganda naman ang experience ko sa DOLE ng Cordillera. So, hopefully, ganyan din naman yung DOLE dyan sa inyo, no? Na responsive naman sila and they're very helpful. And do not be afraid to seek help should you have any concerns, no? Doon sa mga employers or managers, HR, or employees ninyo. Kasi DOLE is actually doing yung anonymity. They are very strict about your privacy as a person who is submitting report. Kaya nagulat ako dito sa nagtanong na paano ninyo nalaman na paulit-ulit na same employee yung paulit-ulit na nagrereklamo sa inyo. Kasi you should not be knowing that. You should not be knowing the identity of people. That is actually a policy of DOLE once you report. And actually, the good thing there is tuturuan ba kayo ng DOLE yung tamang process ng pag-report para may bearing po yung gagawin ninyo. So do not be afraid to ask questions po when it comes to your concerns. Ayan, thank you.
There we go. So thank you for those inputs po. Thank you to our speaker and thank you to our president, Ma'am Jessica. Okay, so now I hope wala na po tayong tanong because that is the end for our question and answer session. Okay, so let's give a warm of applause to our speaker and to Ma'am Jess. Maraming salamat po sa mga input niyo ngayon.